This is your host Fahad Faruqui, and you're watching The Coffee Table. Today we'll discuss different facets of education. For that, we have Sara Sultan and Safia Mahmood. They've both gone to single-sex education schools. Sara, single-sex education schools? Why?
Well, that was a decision that was made by my parents, so clearly I did not have a choice in it.
And you don't look very happy with that either.
Absolutely not.
I'm glad. I went to a CoEd school and I loved it. How was your school experience?
Similar to like Sara said.
She hated it.
But I loved mine.
Yes, it's not similar.
But like I said, I didn't have much choice back in the day to decide what school I have to
So you
go to.
decided to suck up and say, oh,
Not really.
let's make do with what I have.
Not really. The friends I made back in the day, I still hold very close to my heart. They still carry my emotional baggage, and I don't think that would have been possible had I gone to a co-ed school. But that's my personal experience.
Well, guys might be good in carrying the baggage. Not sure about emotional one.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. The experiences that I've had suggest to me, my personal thing, that going to an all-girls school was exactly the anchor that I needed back in the day, because I was a bit of a trouble child.
Aren't we all?
I feel I was told that I'm a special case in that opinion.
How about you?
I was a very meek and a very, very nice child.
I was a troublemaker from the get-go.
I wasn't. Not
Actually,
at
a black
all.
sheep.
I'm a rebel in my own way. I rebel silently.
See, there we go. There was something there.
Yeah.
But
Quite cheeky.
how do you know that if you had gone to a co-education school, how would that have been different?
Because when I went for my master's abroad, it was a totally different experience. It was my first time being in a co-ed situation, and I was like, oh, wow. New people, a different gender, I can actually talk to them, you know?
But interestingly, haven't you also gone to a single-sex college?
I have actually.
And how was that?
How do I say it nicely? A
Is it-
not very traumatic experience.
Really?
I'm just being subtle.
Really, Sara?
I'm just being subtle.
Yeah, she doesn't want to open up that way. How was yours? You didn't go, so you moved from a single-sex school to a co-education college.
Yes.
How was that for you?
That was, in
And
my opinion.
who was carrying the baggage? Emotional one? There.
I would rather not say. My parents are going to be watching this show, but other than that, I would say that it was a very smooth transition for me.
Okay, why?
Because at school, I personally feel everything that came in my life, whatever chapter, it was very well suited to the kind of a person I was. Back in the day, I feel like I needed more friends around me, and that too, a female companionship. That is something that I still hold very dear to my heart. However, I wanted to expand my horizons once I went to college, and that was a very interesting amalgam of different people coming together. It wasn't just the boys, Fahad. It was also people from different backgrounds. Like, there were people from KP and Balochistan and Sindh, boys and girls alike, and that was a very interesting experience for me.
It wasn't boys.
It was everybody, basically. Everybody.
How was it for you going to college? No guys, closeted?
Yeah, it was a very difficult experience, not going to sugarcoat this one, but being from an all-girls school and like the transition to a co-ed uni came quite later. But when I went to an all-girls college, it was a proper culture shock for me, which is quite odd.
But why was that? Going from an all-girls school to an all-girls college should be natural.
For me, it wasn't, because everything was different. The rules were different. It was as if I was in a jail.
Really?
Jail?
A jail.
So did you play Monopoly and try to get that get out of jail card?
Well, I wasn't allowed to leave before 1, so yeah.
Sorry,
Kinda.
there is a reason for that. Do you understand that?
Well, I'm an adult, aren't I? So I'm supposed to know what's wrong and what's right for me. Why would you want to police me? It's a safe space. Let me live as I want to.
How was it inside, though? How was the atmosphere?
I think it just depends. Like, I made friends later on, like not immediately, because since I was from an O-levels background, and a lot of my friends weren't, and I was kind of harassed for it. They thought I had a lot of attitude and that I was ignoring them on purpose, which is not true at all.
I'm not too sure whether somebody can harass you or not, and let's not go there. How was it for you?
Well, I don't think I can relate to Sara in that regard because it was pretty smooth for me. I hate to say it, but you don't see much diversity in LGS, right? It's actually the same
Exactly
flock.
what-
It is
exactly,
the same
yeah.
flock. You know the dance. You know how it works. You know that they're going to be groupings. You're just going to find your own crowd.
And which is across Pakistan.
Which is, and I'm pretty disappointed that Sara could not share that experience with me because it was almost natural for me, Fahad. I went to LGS in grade 8, right? And within the second week, I made the best friend that I still have today. So for me, it was a little magical for me that coming in a place,
had
finding
you
my
gone
ground.
to a co-education school, you
Yeah.
would have made best friends with both boys and girls. Now, to be fair, the problem that has come forward in going to a single-sex school is that you would have a problem with the other sex, and it's like dissects the society. It actually changes your thinking.
I agree.
And segregation is sometimes not a very good idea. How do you feel about that? Were you comfortable with the opposite gender?
No, I was not. To be very real with you, I would love to think that as many Western countries operate, co-ed education systems could work here. But in my opinion, the thing is, the very notion of a co-ed school does not fit in with the culture. Boys and girls in every field in Pakistan are so separated that putting them in school together is
Safia,
not
Exactly my point.
Safia?
Exactly my point.
you're doing very well.
I understand, but back in the day, as I said, I was a girl. Let's just say,
We're not
So were you?
questioning your gender to
Yes.
begin with.
like you understand, I was transitioning.
You guys have come out well, but do everybody come out well? How were people? Now, all your sisters have gone to a single-sex school.
Yeah.
But by the way, did your parents conspire?
I think they did.
Oh.
And you know what the unfair part is? My brother went to a co-ed school. He went to a co-ed
Okay,
school and
I understand.
me and my sister went to an all-girls school. And the biggest problem that I have is...
So the guy gets to go to a co-ed school, and the girls don't.
Yeah, because we're nice girls. We're just supposed to be in
Be
a nice
exposed to
environment.
rowdy boys?
Yeah, and then just be nice.
Is there a
and,
thing that exists for you,
girly and
for you
humble.
girls who go to single-sex school? The guys are rowdy or something of that sort? What are the stereotypes? How do you guys perceive the opposite gender?
Well, I guess.
And obviously, you perceive me well, Safia.
Of course I do, Fahad.
Yeah,
It's
you-
always a pleasure with you. But other than that, my opinion now is, I need to say this, is very different from what my opinion was back in the day. I was a teenager with raging hormones, let's face it.
Yeah.
I had a very different mindset. I was trying to figure my identity out. But I don't think I could have perceived boys to be anything less than a mystery of sorts, you know? Like
Mystery.
I was curious to understand and what is this thing?
I'm kind of enjoying this now. Mystery.
It was a
That's
mystery.
What about you?
That's true, actually. If you're stopping people from doing
So-
a certain thing,
So basically, a mystery.
absolutely.
Absolutely, Fahad.
I like this.
We're looking at you, trying to figure you out.
And both you girls are sitting at the right angle.
Yeah.
You girls are
Trying to
actually
figure
looking at
out
me.
the mystery.
Yeah, exactly. So that hasn't been figured out. But anyhow, you've already gone abroad for education. You, on the other hand, are on the verge of wanting to go abroad
Yeah.
for education, but have had very good education yourself.
Yeah.
You've gone to LUMS. How was it abroad? How was the classroom environment?
It was magical. That's what I would
So the mystery
say.
turned into magic.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
I was like, wow, there's another person who's
A bloke?
a boy basically, sitting next to me and a quite Irish.
Did you poke him?
I wanted to. He was very cute. Black eye, green eyes.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Green eyes, black hair, and a beautiful Irish accent.
Fantastic.
A good start.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How was it for you going to LUMS?
It was a transition and it was an eye-opener. I feel that before, I was very myopic in the way I used to perceive my life at LUMS. I used to think that I'm going to hang out with my LGS girls and, you know, boys are just going to remain a mystery of sorts. But that
Mystery.
yes,
With an exclamation mark.
absolutely. But actually, it all changed. we realized, well, they're human and they're nothing special.
Can we stick to the mystery part as far as I'm concerned?
No, the bubble popped, Fahad. You need to deal with that.
Bloody hell.
But yeah, but that happened, and I think
Absolutely.
it was a very natural transition for me.
Yeah.
Had it happened before in A levels or O levels, I feel that was just an immature stage for me. This is from my personal experience. I don't know if it applies to you or any other girl out there. For me, I would have probably not made a right decision or settled in well. But as soon as I went to LUMS and I made the best of friends there, some of them guys didn't realize at all at times that, I'm crying in front of a guy, putting my head on a guy's shoulder and he's wiping my tears, and it's anything weird. It was nothing short of a magical relationship that I've shared with
That's very filmish.
But
Let's
that's
not even
true.
go there. And I know what kind of relationship that is. Moving further, is there an adjustment problem that you girls have with the opposite gender
I think there
beyond
is.
cousins?
I think there is, to be very, very honest. So when I started LGS, I was in a co-ed situation till grade 1. And then suddenly...
Guys, what's the deal? You all go to LGS or something here?
I
Are there no other schools?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are.
Well,
but
I'm on national television,
I'm
so
from
I'm not-
Karachi, so it's usually the few schools that come out.
No, yeah, but
But anyhow,
grammarians.
So till grade 1, we're in a co-ed situation, and then suddenly everything changes.
I agree.
Boys are a mystery again.
mystery.
And you're like...
That
wait,
becomes magical.
And then, no, magical came
then it
way
pops here.
afterwards. Magical came way afterwards.
Okay.
So first you're like, oh, so my best friend was a guy in grade 1. And then suddenly I don't have a best friend and I need to
Yeah.
find new friends and all of them are girls. And I've been exposed to the other gender when I was tiny and suddenly they've taken it away from me and I'm so confused. What's the reason?
Yeah.
adjustment
Why?
issues.
I think I'll have to agree with Sara here. I was in a co-ed school till grade 5. So as I went to a girls' school in grade 6. So, for me, I had grown up with boys. I didn't get along with boys, but because back in the days, boys have cooties. Ew,
Nice.
Yeah, in kindergarten. And that's how it
Absolutely,
worked.
yeah.
It was like, ew, boys. And how that changed to magical.
On that note, we'll take a break. Welcome back. Now, there's something that strikes my fancy is character building. And for me, that happened when I went abroad for education to Columbia and thereon Cambridge. How was it for you?
My, oh my. How do I answer
Did it happen
this?
here? Did it happen abroad?
CoEd taught me one thing. Very, very important thing, that is.
Which is?
Patience. It taught me patience. Not even going to joke
But then
about it.
how did it
The only-
change when you went abroad?
So in CoEd,
And I know you're being facetious there, so let's move forward.
how it changed? I think I got exposed to a lot of different ideas, right? So, for instance, take feminism. Like I was in an all-women's college, CoEd. Everybody's in awe. Oh, wow, you're in CoEd. You should be a feminist. And I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I am a feminist. And then one of my teachers taught me a course on feminism. And I was like, wait, no, I'm not a feminist. I don't know what she taught me. She scared me so much. I refused to call myself a feminist, which was so odd. I started questioning my own identity, being from an all...
But did you have one over here? Had you developed a character and an identity of your own?
I did not. I struggled. I struggled a lot. I just could not find myself in CoEd. I was lost. One of my teachers, who later became my mentor as well, started guiding me. She saw potential in me, and she was like, you know what? Forget that you're in CoEd. Focus on what you like. So if it's human rights, if it's international law that you like, focus on it, study hard, get out of here.
How was it for you? We don't focus on character building a great deal, do we?
I agree. When I went to school, I feel like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know. Going to LUMS really, really changed me in a very positive way. I was a typical snob. I'm going to go to US for my undergrad. And LUMS seemed like a punishment to me, to be very honest with you. I was not excited.
Imagine my pain then. Imagine my pain.
No, but like, seriously, when I went to LUMS, it was beautiful. Not only the people, I learned of diversity, I learned of tolerance, I learned of patience, I learned so many things which I was just safeguarded by. Like, in school, who did I have to interact with? I had no one but my 2-3 friends, right? The same girls from the same background to talk about the same things. When I went to LUMS, though, different people challenging me. I had very myopic views back in the day. They made me question it. Boys and girls together, the staff, the education system. One thing I learned from LUMS, I can put in one word. Why? And it
That's
applies-
fantastic. And I think you're still asking the question.
Yes.
And it's good to ask questions.
Yeah.
The problem I feel in my education system was that I wasn't exposed to a lot of ideas. And I think studying abroad does expose you to a lot of
Absolutely.
ideas.
Radical ideas. You were surprised.
Absolutely.
I was taken aback. So I studied genocide and I was in awe. Imagine
You were
somebody
in awe. Okay.
awe
So
of
say,
how it
maybe you need to explain this because you studied genocide and you were in awe.
Genocide, no, in awe of the professor who taught me.
Yes,
No,
they learn it.
I'm so grateful to him, you know. Whoever I am right now, it's because of his motivation. He taught me how to speak up for myself. I still remember being that lonely Pakistani girl in her first class, so scared because I just didn't know how to interact. I've always been a friendly
Safia, do you
person.
realize that she's not scared from anywhere?
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was petrified. This
Well.
was my first experience, right?
Yeah.
And he saw that and he said, you know what? I know you have a point. Speak up. And I felt so liberated.
And did you speak up?
I absolutely did. Hell
That's
yes.
absolutely fantastic. So you both have gone to liberal arts college, and one good characteristic for liberal arts college is that it exposes you to a lot of ideas, and it teaches you tolerance of those opposing ideas as well. Was it that for you as well?
I completely agree. I would really concede to that because before that, I was a very restricted person. Someone
It's
who,
your way or the highway?
yeah, absolutely. Because I hate to say this, and it
I
does
can
not.
even see it in her gesture. Yes.
Yeah, like I remember what I was like. It was like, you don't know your stuff. I know mine. I know mine. Listen to me. Going to LUMS has studying humanities, to be honest, because that's what they teach you.
Exactly.
They teach you
It
to give a counter argument.
It chisels you.
Yeah, it makes you question, even in the projects, even the product that you present to the instructor, right? It makes you acknowledge that no matter what your stance on something is, you acknowledge that there's a counter argument there.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful
How was
art.
it for you?
Absolutely. I agree with what you said. I agree with what Safia said. I was never allowed to question when I was in my undergrad, you know. And at the LSC, they taught me to question everything, even the professor. Go ahead, question me. Come up with the most radical ideas and I'll answer you.
I agree.
Let's sit together. Let's
And
talk.
how was it when somebody proposed an idea that you did not like, you had to accept it?
Absolutely. First, they taught me how to question. Secondly, be tolerant of the fact that another person could have another idea. So just accept it as it is, you know. We're all different. We have our own personalities. We're exposed to different backgrounds. So yes.
Were you girls taught logic here in Pakistan?
Logic, not specifically, but like logically answering questions, logically questioning everything, making sure you corroborate what you say. Yes.
A very different experience for me.
How was it for you?
For me, it
But
was
then
more
again, she's
about-
coming from an American college
Absolutely.
background.
For us, it was more about rote learning,
Oh, no.
and then having the perfect headings, making sure you highlight stuff. All these things were important.
So
You were graded.
superficial.
Absolutely. So if you've written a top-notch answer, but you don't have headings, you don't get an A. Sadly, that's how it is. I'm not saying every teacher is like that.
Says
but
the gold
majority-
medalist.
But majority of them is. But I never did
This
that.
is how you got the gold medal, didn't you?
Don't expose my secrets, please.
Moving further, do colleges teach moral responsibility these days?
Yes. I won't speak for any other, but at LUMS, we were given the entire responsibility for everything. For example, you know if someone falls, if someone gets an injury or something, who you'll call? There's no ambulance. You call students. That's students running for other students, leaving their classes, leaving their homeworks, leaving the library, and going to help the other one out. And you actually have to, there's a society for this. In case you didn't know, you look shocked, Fahad.
I am.
No, that's...
I'm actually more scared of asking the same question to
but-
Sara
yeah.
because I know where you'll go.
No, it
and
was
you're already
very-
laughing.
Yeah.
How was it for you? Moral responsibility, very important. I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking this question to both of you. On social media, I see memes, I see people whining about how they were treated by other girls, how girls were treated by other girls, how guys were treated by both guys and girls. So there is a reason why I'm asking you this question. For example, I saw a Facebook post very recently where a girl actually came out and said, hey, I had a hairy face. And I've gone through so many laser procedures, but still not gone. And seeing back in time, girls made fun of me. And those were the girls who were there, so to speak, friends. This happens. And you know, schools and colleges are supposed to play a role there.
Yeah.
And something needs to be done. And I don't think it is. You tell me your experience, is it?
Well, it's a very difficult question for me to answer, to be very, very honest. The role-
At least you guys can say or tell me whether this happens or not. Does it?
It does. It happens everywhere, and I don't think...
Basic etiquettes, yes, maybe, but who are your role models in your uni, your teachers, right? But if they're policing you, if they're constantly questioning your morals, then all the students would do the same. It happens.
But then again, they can be your role models and they can say something that people should not do this. You shouldn't bully each other.
Look,
You should actually respect each other.
Fahad, but when does that work? When, if you're real, like I fight, I used to kick my brother, okay? And my father used to say, don't do it. Did that make me stop? No, it did not. Look, it doesn't work like that. You don't police behavior. I think as a child, you grow,
But you
evolve.
instill moral responsibility. And what I'm wondering is whether it's taught in universities and colleges and schools here or not.
I don't know if they actively teach it, but I do know that there's punitive actions for that. When
Punitive actions.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about, bullying
Was
and
I-
ragging, which happens.
Was I taught about bullying in those 4 years? Hell no.
When you went abroad, could you bully anyone?
No way. They would have told me to go.
Exactly my point.
Yeah, I agree with you, absolutely. Was I taught about bullying? Not at all. But yeah, where ragging was concerned, they tried stopping people, like giving them warnings, but that's about it.
We'll take a short break there and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Now the most contentious part that is most close to my heart. Did you guys have homeworks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How were homeworks?
For me, they were fun. I like homework.
What?
You like homeworks?
Absolutely.
You know
I can't sit
there are
idle.
parts of the European community that have actually eradicated homework.
But then what exactly is the homework? The readings that you have to do, aren't that a part of your homework?
No.
They are, yes. You're assigned readings every week. You
Safia,
have to
can
read
you
them.
help me with this young
Yeah,
lady?
Sara.
Because I really don't know what to do with her now.
You like doing homework?
Yeah, I'm the kind of person who can't sit idle, so it keeps my mind occupied,
I
right?
feel you though.
It keeps my mind occupied. I like learning about new stuff. And if it's challenging me,
Young ladies, can I define homework for you girls?
yes, please.
It's like going to school and then working all day trying to do the work that you're supposed to do in school. And that means you do not have a life. So, Sara, let me ask you now, do you have a life? Or, more importantly, did you have a life during college?
What do you think?
Now I'm double-minded.
I had the best time in college. I'm the kind of person who just studies the day before, but I do read my stuff.
See, again I have a problem with this girl. How do people do this?
I'm a walking, talking oxymoron.
Oh my God.
That's a very beautiful way to describe yourself.
Exactly. Could you help me? Because I have to still anchor the show.
No, I agree with you, Fahad, on this one. Homework,
No homeworks.
no homeworks, come on. And I'm not just saying this for us, man. Like, if I have 4 siblings and all I see is that those poor kids wake up at 5 in the morning, go to school, come back at 2, eat, go play cricket, come back. Because extracurriculars are homework too, by the way. Go to tuition,
And there are
come back.
none.
the point is that everything is becoming so commodified. Even in extracurricular is something that everyone is commodifying themselves in. You have
And you
to be the
don't
best.
realize, there are people who have talked this through, that there is a need to do sports, that you can't just study. And because of the homework, it's your extracurricular activity that actually gets marginalized. And that's causing a lot of stress.
I agree.
Were you stressed because of the homework?
Yeah. But back in my day, I used to also go to the streets and play cricket. So I feel
You
like
did?
Yeah, I was quite the cricketer back in the day.
Well
Oh my
done, you.
God.
Yeah.
So let's not even discuss the Shahid Afridi statement with you.
Don't. Just don't.
I'm
Don't.
fangirling right now.
Thanks, girl.
To
Safia.
That's absolutely fantastic. And it's well worth it. You've chosen a good fan. But how was it for you? Did you have extracurricular activities as well?
Honestly, no.
Then there you go. That's the problem with homework. I mean, the reason why there are countries that have eradicated homework, and correct me if I'm wrong, there are schools where there are no exams now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a reason for that.
This I agree with. Not everybody is good with exams. There's
I
this
agree.
friend of mine who is so brilliant, but she just sucks at taking exams.
Exactly. Especially if it's at the year end.
Yeah. So her GPA was never good. And everybody was surprised. Even the teachers, they're like, wait, what? Why can't you perform well
I
on
feel
your
like
exams?
another element really comes to play in this thing, and that's mental health. I feel like back in the day, students were more active. You physically exert yourself, man. You blow off steam. Students now.
I can imagine that.
Yeah. But now I see I'm talking about my siblings because I feel like I have a good sample to judge the millennials these days. But yeah, all I see is that they come back, and when they want to blow off steam, it's just that PS4. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna blow off some steam on virtually, right? So how is that gonna help you out? You're gonna develop anxiety. Of course you are. You're not blowing off. So you're gonna develop a competition. You're gonna develop a sense of depression. I feel like you're not gonna perform well because there's so much stress
Most
piling
certainly
on.
stress, at least.
Yeah, stress.
And I think there is a lot of stress amongst even the young students.
Absolutely.
And there is no education in schools, which is becoming a cause of a problem.
Yeah.
And that education, how did you feel? You've gone abroad and you've gone to an American school, so you both have something to compare it with. I realize some of the syllabus is so outdated that I couldn't use them. What I studied in colleges abroad, I could use that in my real life.
Absolutely.
And some of those schools actually made sure that even if you were studying law, even if you were studying a specialized degree, they made it a point that you study literature, you study
Absolutely.
art, you study music. But when I speak to somebody in Pakistan, they listen to the music they actually like, but they've never been pushed to think about outside their confines. And there we were. I mean, you had to do abroad, as you may have done it yourself, classical music, classical literature, and classical philosophy.
Yeah.
That does broaden your horizon a great deal. Were you exposed to that in
I was
LSE
exposed
abroad?
to philosophy, yes. Was I a fan of philosophy? No, it was too boring for me.
Of course, but then
But yeah,
do you want to do only a specialization in one field and then be a master one, or as opposed to be a little bit jack of all trades so that you can be a well-rounded person?
Absolutely.
How was it for you?
I was made to study law at LUMS.
You were?
Yeah, you're supposed to take a couple of out-group, they say, courses.
Yeah.
Oh, as a core course, as a humanities.
Yeah, you're
course
made to
study
take
law.
a couple of courses that do not fall in your degree. So I took courses from SSE, which is this math department. I took courses from business. I took courses from law. And since I majored in political science and economics, they did not exactly fall.
But even in CoEd, we were allowed to take courses from different departments. We had to. It was
a holistic kind of an understanding of even if you're not specializing in that,
Absolutely.
you should know what you're not
Yes.
studying, because that's what, in my opinion, being educated is.
Absolutely.
Also
Sophia,
understanding your
you took
limitations.
math courses?
I'm
For
really
that?
good at math, Fahad.
Okay, so from
I
here on, we
can't-
can't be friends.
Same.
I
you don't
love
I'm
even-
saying
math.
this. I'm saying this on national TV. From here on, we can't be friends.
I love math. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd.
Okay,
It's the opposite
You say
for
this
me.
once more, and I mean it, that we cannot be friends. Moving further,
Yeah.
one more facet that I really loved about education abroad was learning a foreign language. Did you girls have to?
There was a choice, but I did not opt for it.
Oh, you could do a degree. You had to do. There were things that you had to do in Colombia in order to graduate. Foreign language, and you better know how to swim. I kept asking, why do I have to do this?
I can't swim for the life of me.
I know how to
Exactly.
swim.
And you would, and if there is no lifesaver, you better know how to swim. So hence, thus was the argument from Columbia University's dean. You need to know how to swim.
I understand that. It's painful. Man, what an experience. You're learning a language, you're learning a lifetime skill. And I feel like these things are very important and they often get neglected in our particular education sector. They don't focus so much.
I think in the UK, it's a bit different because LSE has its own language center, but you have to pay them and then take a course separately.
Well, the great thing about the American education system, especially humanities, is that the curriculum is made as such that you have to take, as part of the number of courses that you have to do those 4 language courses. And you have to, it's not to the advanced level, but to an intermediate level, you have to do courses.
It's absolutely amazing.
But then there is another facet about Pakistani education, and when talking about languages, we don't even study Urdu.
Yes. It really disappoints me, and that's one thing that I have always felt guilty about. And since I want
It's
to
very
do
embarrassing as well at times.
Come on, man. You excel at English. You know English. Why
You sometimes are even proud of speaking and thinking and dreaming in English.
Yeah. And what about
But
Urdu?
Urdu? No.
It's a language of our culture, don't you think? And yet the language of our education...
It's actually a beautiful language.
It is. It's absolutely beautiful.
And we
An
struggle
amalgam
with
of
it.
Persian and what?
For me,
Sanskrit? Arabic?
Yeah.
For me, it's very, very embarrassing. A friend of mine wrote something to me in Urdu, and I was like, it is so embarrassing, but you have to translate this for
my
me.
God.
It was proper Urdu, you know.
I'm not going to shame you for that because I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge problem.
I know.
It is a problem.
There was a time in this region that people, they didn't even, not only spoke Urdu, they knew and spoke and wrote Arabic, Persian, and Urdu.
Absolutely, yeah.
And somehow that's diminished. And I asked somebody why that is the case. And they say when you take economics out of the factor, and wherever the language that is used for business is the language that's used. So when contracts come into play and they're all in English and everything is in English, and you don't use Urdu so much, then it goes.
Urdu got lost somewhere. It just did. There are a lot of people who have really good command over it, but I'm not one of them. And I'm super embarrassed about it, super embarrassed.
We don't read that much in Urdu,
I know.
right?
It's a struggle, right? But then again, even in schools, you get penalized.
Yes.
You get penalized for talking in
I'm
Urdu.
very sorry to say this.
Which is
but
embarrassing,
the
which
only
is
subject
sad.
that the teachers did not emphasize on as much was Urdu.
Yeah.
What about literature and poetry?
Well, I'll be biased here because I live for literature. I live for poetry. So I'm going to say that there was...
But that was your own personal interest.
Yeah.
Was it ever taught, like for example, again, I would say, in an American education system, this is, I mean, why I'm having a word about this, because this happened in my house while I was choosing between going to Columbia or LSE, where you went, and I got into both. We distinguish between what the education systems are like. And I really like the idea of being jack of all trades, of knowing a little bit about everything and then doing a major and a minor in something.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely fantastic.
I'm following
and I
your lead
relished
here.
that.
Yeah, I'm following your lead here, absolutely.
Somebody's applying to Columbia.
Yeah, already
You go,
have.
girl. Well
But one of the
done.
reasons I've been very deterred from UK is because I feel like I can't expose myself to different subjects. And as sure as I am of what I want to do, I feel like every person should have a know-how of everything out there, even the
If
ones...
not everything,
Most things.
good-
You should know what's
Yes,
going on. You should know the options available
Yeah.
to you. It shouldn't
But
be
then again-
engineering and, you've been
Yeah.
raised to be an engineer and you don't know what's out there. It's a sad state of affairs. Intelligent children are just limited to 2 subjects, science and math.
Feel you.
Oh, that's what regional thing is. You're raised to become a doctor, you're raised to become an engineer or lawyer.
But even at the LSE,
And actually, you become a teacher only if you're not getting a job anywhere.
Yeah. No, but even at the LSE, we may not have studied classic literature and all those other subjects, but we were exposed to really, really nice stuff as well. I was a human rights major. I studied globalization and sexuality, international law and movement of persons within states, deals with IDPs. I was amazed. I was so proud of myself. I challenged myself at the LSE. I honestly did. And I learned so much, so much.
On that note, I mean, to sum it up, our education system needs changing, a lot of it. And I think, having said that, these two girls are an example that our girls are excelling here and abroad. We have intelligent girls in Pakistan, and they can do so much better if our education system improves. Hope you enjoyed our conversation and our show. Take care of yourself.